welcome to my channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I've been meaning to tell you about this weird night I had over at Bass Lake. I'd gone fishing out there. It was my day off, and honestly, I had nothing to do that day. I convinced my girlfriend to let me head out, said it'd be quick and I'd be home soon. But you know how it goes. The day just kind of drags on, and before I knew it, I was there for hours. I found this sweet spot on top of this huge rock. The rock was big enough that I could spread out, relax a little, and cast my line far out into the lake. Just below the rock, the water was deep. You could tell it wasn't like the shallows where the water is clear and calm. This spot had that murky look, like it went down forever. It kind of gave me the chills looking at it for too long, but I shook it off, thinking it'd be the perfect place to catch something big. Anyway, I cast my line out. Time kind of disappeared like it does when you're out in nature. I remember feeling this peaceful vibe, like it was just me and the lake. Nothing else mattered. The sun was up, shining bright. There wasn't much action going on though, no bites. I reeled my line in after a while to change up the bait, and I swear, I thought I saw something move down below the rock. It wasn't a fish though, it was like, I don't know, maybe a shadow or something just under the surface. I thought it might be a log or some plants, but something about it felt off. Still, I didn't think much of it. After switching my bait, I threw my line out again, this time far into the middle of the lake, hoping for a bite. The thing is, every time I reeled it in, I kept seeing something from the corner of my eye, like a flicker of movement, right beneath me where the water was deep. I figured it had to be a fish, probably a big one. You know how your mind gets when you're just sitting there, waiting for something to happen. Your brain starts playing tricks. But then, as the sun started to set, I saw it again. This time, it wasn't just a flicker. It was something big. I could see the outline of it beneath the water. It was huge, like way bigger than any fish I've ever seen. It gave me goosebumps for a second, but I quickly brushed it off. I thought, man, this is it. This has to be a massive fish. So I reeled in my line again and cast it right where I saw the movement. Nothing. No bite, not even a nibble. So I threw my line out far again and sat back, telling myself I'd pack up when it got dark. The sun was almost gone at this point, leaving the sky with that orange glow you only get right before night falls. It was quiet too, the kind of quiet where you can hear your own breathing, the sound of the lake lapping against the rocks. That's when I saw it again. But this time, it wasn't just a shadow. It was a figure. It was right underneath me, in the deep water. My whole body went cold. It looked huge, but it wasn't shaped like a fish anymore. It looked like a person, just floating there. I couldn't see it clearly, but I felt this weird sense of dread, like something wasn't right. Still, my brain was trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was just debris, or maybe I was tired and seeing things. I stayed longer than I should have, casting my line out again, just to keep myself busy. But deep down, I knew something was off. It got dark, like pitch black dark. I was sitting there, debating whether I should reel my line in and head out, when I heard this splashing sound. It was like someone was swimming down below me. I froze. You ever get that feeling where your heart just stops for a second and you can't move? That's what it felt like. I grabbed my flashlight and pointed it down at the water, but I didn't see anything. The surface was calm, just the gentle ripples from where I cast my line earlier. Then I heard it again. Another splash, but closer this time. I whipped my flashlight down fast, and that's when I saw it. There was someone down there, floating just below the surface. Their long hair was drifting around in the water like seaweed, and they were looking up at me. I don't even know how to explain it, but they were smiling, like this eerie, twisted smile that made my stomach drop. And then they started waving. Not frantically or anything, just this slow, steady wave, like they were inviting me to come down. My whole body went cold. I mean, I've seen weird stuff before, but nothing like this. I didn't know what to do. My rod was still in the water, but I didn't even care. I just grabbed my stuff and bolted. I didn't even bother reeling my line in. I just left it there, like it didn't even matter anymore. I ran all the way back to my car, heart pounding like crazy. When I got to the car, I threw my gear in the back and grabbed my flashlight one last time. I flashed it toward the lake, just to make sure I wasn't imagining things. And that's when I saw them again. That figure, the one I saw in the water, was now sitting on top of the rock where I had been, just sitting there, still waving at me, still smiling. My heart nearly stopped. I didn't even think twice. I jumped into the car and peeled out of there as fast as I could. The whole drive home, I couldn't stop shaking. I didn't tell anyone. Not my girlfriend, not my friends. No one. I didn't know how to explain it, and honestly, I didn't want to. What was I supposed to say? That I saw someone or something in the lake waving at me? A year went by after that, and I hadn't been back to Bass Lake since. Then, one day, one of my friends hit me up and asked if I wanted to go fishing. It sounded like a good idea at first, like a nice way to relax, until he told me he was thinking about heading over to Bass Lake. I gotta admit, I hesitated at first. I didn't want to go back there. But after a minute, I thought to myself, it's been a year. Maybe it was all just in my head. Maybe it's all right now. So I agreed to go. Figured what's the worst that could happen, right? We got there while it was still daylight, and it was actually pretty chill. The water looked calm, nothing weird. My friend was casting his line, and I just kind of watched for a bit, but I was so tired for some reason. I told him I was going to take a quick nap. Just needed to close my eyes for a second, I laid back on this rock, same as last time, and just drifted off. When I woke up though, it was dark, like really dark, and my heart started racing. I immediately looked around, but my friend was just sitting there at the edge of the lake, staring out at the water. I called out to him, asking why he didn't wake me up sooner, but he didn't say anything, just sat there, motionless, like a statue or something. I called again, louder this time, but he still didn't move. At this point, I started getting goosebumps. The air felt heavier, like something was wrong. I got up and slowly walked over to him. The closer I got, the weirder it felt, like the air around him was colder or something. Then, out of nowhere, he turned his head around. And I don't mean he just looked at me. His whole head turned 180 degrees, like some creepy movie stuff, and he stared at me with that same twisted smile I saw in the water last year. He didn't say anything at first, just smiled, and then, slowly, he started waving at me. Come, he said in this low voice that didn't even sound like him. It was like the same voice I heard in my head when that figure waved at me last year. I was so freaked out, I stumbled backward and tripped over a rock. My head hit the ground hard, and everything went black for a second. When I opened my eyes, I realized it was just a dream. It was still daylight. My friend looked at me, concerned, asking why I was shaking so much when I woke up. I didn't know what to tell him, so I just said I had a bad dream. He chuckled, and we both went back to fishing like nothing happened. But I couldn't get rid of the feeling. When the sun started setting, my friend suggested staying longer. That's when I told him everything about what happened last year and the dream I just had. As I was talking, I could see him getting goosebumps too. He didn't laugh this time. We both decided to call it a day and headed home. I didn't go back to Bass Lake after that. It wasn't worth it. Not after what I saw. I don't know if it was just my imagination running wild, or if something was really there, but it was enough to make me swear off that spot. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll see you in the next one.